Hey y'all, welcome to episode 216 of Consignment Chats. I want to say it's a spotlight episode, but I feel like we've already had these amazing men on our show. I feel like it's more like C Chats does happy hour. I don't know.
There we go. There we go.
Our episode. So today we are privileged yet again to have the $1 million peddlers on our show. Guys, welcome. And I want to start by you each taking turns, letting everybody know exactly who you are, what your individual businesses are, and we can get into chit chat and catching up.
I'm Mr. Magazine. I sell on eBay, Amazon, ADM. I have my own website, and recently, Whatnot.
Oh,
okay. Well, there's something we get to talk about later.
In the corner and finally got with the times.
And I'm Paper Guy, one of the influencers extraordinaire. At least that's what it says on the screen. We've got the YouTube channel, of course, and myself. I sell on Etsy, eBay, Amazon, and also on Whatnot, and probably a couple of sites that I attempt to sell things on, but I get so few sales I don't remember I sell on.
Amen. I had someone said, oh, I had a Bonanza sale the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about Bonanza. I think I still have stuff on there. Yeah.
You're like really hoping that those notifications and emails come through if something does sell, you know.
Next to Bonanzas, Elon Musk was trying to buy them for $12.
Oh, that's a generous offer. Yeah, that's. So what is new with you guys? Last time we talked, about like Money Mountains and sourcing and such with you guys. Do you still have buildings and buildings full of inventory?
Yeah, and more coming in. I got a deal we had a deal in Utah and then Los Angeles and Hollywood. So I flew my guys into Utah, rented a truck, loaded the truck up from Utah, drove it to Hollywood or LA, wherever, for another load. Then they brought it to this guy's other location. They had a big storage unit, so we had to rent an 18-wheeler to come there and pick up like 500 boxes of,
oh my gosh,
movies and all kinds of stuff. And then next month in Oregon, we got 450 to 500 banana boxes of movies and magazines. Also, that we have an 18-wheeler that we're having load up over there as well. So.
All right, here's the question I have. It's an important one. What is your limit? Like, what is your limit?
Oh, there's no limit because
there's no limit. No limit.
Thing I'm not because we never have room. I go, we'll make room. Don't worry about it. So
this is why, though, I love having you guys on here, because when you've got Mr. Magazine sharing stories like this, you guys share these large amounts, and it just gives me validation. And so when Samantha gets mad at me because I'm sourcing, I can just say, well, the guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
My sourcing so far this year has been fairly slow. No flea markets, nothing like that's open up here. Of course, nobody wants to set up in 4 feet of snow for some bizarre reason. I don't understand it. I'd come out and spend like $5 with them. I mean, that's got to be worth their time. The estate sales so far this year have been absolutely horrendous as well. That being said, I am buying. Who am I kidding? I'm buying stuff tomorrow. I was actually at an estate sale the other day, and one of the workers there came up to me and says, "Hey, did my buddy text you yet?" And I said, "No, nobody's texted me." He says, "Oh, I gave your contact information to him. He's a dealer in a lot of stuff, and he doesn't deal in ephemera, but he's got a whole bunch of it. He's been, just putting aside. You interested?" I go, yeah. So the guy texted me. I'm supposed to be going out there tomorrow. No idea at all what I'm looking at. No idea at all what I'm getting. Wow. I simply know his last words to me. The dealer did text me and everything. His last words to me: "I don't take any electronic payments." I'm like, yeah, okay. Check to a check out to Johnny Cash. Yeah, I know that.
Right.
And then I am one of the benefits of having the business is I will be flying down to Myrtle Beach in April to meet with Mr. Biesel. I don't know if you know that name or not. He's a pretty big dealer, and he's got some stuff down there. He lives down that way. So I'm taking the wife, and Mrs. Papergoy and I are going down to Myrtle Beach. And he's asking $25,000 on the stuff. We'll see. You know, I got to take a look at it and whatever on that. But see, that's one of the good things about having the business is essentially I'm getting a paid vacation out of it. Now it is 100% legitimate, of course, because especially if I do spend that kind of money.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that is a positive, and I'm glad he lives in Myrtle Beach and not some other Gary, Indiana.
Right. Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
So, all right. So you get this, like, I find this overwhelming. Like when I've done estates or been asked to come in and like kind of like bid on an estate or say, what I want the buyout to be, and they have no idea. I just find that it's so taxing. So here you are going down to Myrtle Beach. It's a large sum of money how do you even like start to evaluate ephemera and like boxes and boxes of it and determine the value or if it's even going to be worth it for you? Where do you start?
To be honest, he's not being totally honest with you.
I'm not.
Because a week later when he leaves, I'm driving into Myrtle Beach because my son has a baseball tournament and I'm going to see Mr. Buys a lot as well. And I'm going to see the rest of his stuff, and we're going to try and do a double deal for 6 figures. That's the whole goal. So what he's buying isn't enough. I have to get my claws and paws into it and hoofs into it. I want to take it all. So that's the goal. The more you take, the better the price, right?
Right. And Mr. Magazine actually does it better than anybody that I know. And when you get down to it, it's cost per unit. That's really, truly what it comes down to.
Okay.
And as long as you can get a general idea of what the cost is per unit, whether it's $1, $2, 50 cents, whatever it is, the lower that is, obviously, the better. But that's kind of how you get the general idea of whether it's a good deal or not. Now,
like when you say per unit, are you evaluating a box? Are you evaluating because ephemera, I mean, a lot of it can fit in a box. Like, how do you even get like an idea of that to even go with the cost per unit?
Generally speaking, it's something other like that. You do a quick count of, as long as everything's relatively the same size, and you figure out, I've been doing baseball cards for years. That is 100 baseball cards. I just know that it is. So
it's also something else we can't mention.
Hey, no, they're not an adult channel. No, sorry. You work your way down like that over there, and then you get a general idea. Okay, there's this many. A comic box holds 300 comics. He knows how many magazines fit in a banker box. So once you get a general idea of that, a lot of times when you're buying these big collections like this, I'm not saying you're buying them sight unseen, but you're buying them mostly sight unseen, because nobody is going to sit there and let you go through 80,000 magazines to
how could you? Right. Yeah.
So you grab a box and you just the boxes are all 3/4 to all the way filled. Yep, that's got. Let me grab this box. Yep, that's got. And you're just kind of doing a quick check over for what it is. Now, I'm not the least bit. Neither of us are the least bit concerned with Mr. Buys lot. We've done a deal with him before, and he knows we're willing to do deals with him in the future. Not that he's an honest guy to start with, but when people know that you're going to be coming back time and time and time again, there's a good reason why they want to give you a good deal as well, because it's like you're a cash cow. I mean, I make the joke that I walk into an estate sale or I walk into a flea market and they all see me coming. So.
So, all right, if you can share all right, so using that methodology, right? You've been using that. It's tried and true. Mm-hmm. What was one of the lessons you might have learned the hard way about evaluating the lots? Or
well, probably you with that Dodge that you made up in Washington.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, I do take some risk, and usually they pay off for me. Mm-hmm. We just had a recent one from the Brooklyn deal too.
Okay.
I mean, it was 10,000 magazines for $10,000 delivered, I think, give or take.
Oh yeah.
And it sounded really good. And usually I'm like, oh, we'll do well. But it came in. It's a lot of car magazines and stuff. We haven't gone through all of it, but it's one of those things where it's not that good. Now we're going to store it into a pod or something, and then we'll probably never get to it because something better will keep coming along. Mm-hmm. But I did spend some time and money flying out to Washington a couple of years ago. A guy had 100,000 DVDs, and I went out there. I went out with a buddy of ours, and we hung out. It was a fun weekend, but spending a day or 2 days at this guy's house, going through them all, a majority of them were bootleg DVDs. So I mean, if he called me from Washington, I'm flying to Washington. It was probably $500-600, and a couple of nights in a hotel. So I'm spending over $1,000. Mm-hmm. And he told me that. not going to waste my time,
Yeah, but thank goodness you went out there.
Yeah, but it's a good thing I saw it.
Yeah.
A sight unseen deal. I would think, wow, I'm getting 100,000 DVDs for $20,000. That's great. And then you can't sell 80% of them, So
right.
He did call me 2 years later recently, so he's probably got 20,000 legit ones out of 100,000. So his price went from like 100,000 down to 15,000. So we're work something out. But it's not worth paying me and my guys to, okay, this is a bootleg, separate that. So we might just get the 8, load it up, take them all, the good with the bad, and figure it out later. So
So that was my next question, was when you get all of this inventory, before you stick it in pods and warehouses and whatever, do you at least like cherry pick it and get the good stuff out?
Some of the deals I do, when I know there's good stuff in there, I'll try my best at least to get some out early. I know the good stuff I don't try to bury. If I got good stuff coming in, I try to take the lesser stuff and move it somewhere else,
Okay.
Sometimes you got to pay twice to move it, but it's, more efficient in the long run because we're taking out $30 magazines compared to slow moving 8 or whatever the case may be. We have rooms that like the Playboy room that's got 60,000 Playboys. It's loaded up. There's no more room in that room. Then we had a non-adult magazine room. There's probably 80,000 in there, and you can't even walk in. They end up being like just boxed on the wall a few years ago. Now you walk in, it's like, how you see money at Fort Knox. It's just like magazine boxes, and there's no aisles anymore.
So I'm picturing you guys need your Mr. Magazine. You need the Mr. Magazine video game, and it's like a take on Tetris.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, how much fun would that be?
Yeah, move
and
back
it could be
out
like
of the
real
warehouse.
time. I'm moving this here. Yeah,
Until the boxes fall over and then crush you to death, and then that's
right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we only get one life in real life, so maybe it can't be real life.
But the plus side of the way that we do things is, as I said, my sourcing this year has been much lower so far until tomorrow. And I'm listing back stock at this point, and I'm getting into boxes that I know I bought back in 2021. And I'm listing stuff from 2021, 2022, and I'm not even
brand new all over again.
It is. And if it were summertime, I'd be getting into the garage where some of the stuff I bought there literally is 2005, 2006. Now it's been bought and paid for many, many times over, but it's sitting out there that well, I'll tell you one of the reasons why though, and this is, I know more today than I knew in 2005 when I bought it. When I finally get to the stuff in 2030, I'll know more than I know today. But there are things out there that I would have undersold, or I just wouldn't even know what to do with, and would have basically thrown them out, given them away. And now I'm looking, going, why did I list this 20 years? Oh, because I didn't know what I was doing. Treasures that you had no idea were treasures.
You may have like a relative in there and a dog or something.
Who knows? All right, guys, I'm going deep here. I have a really deep question for you. Molly, can I ask it?
I have no idea what you're getting ready to ask, so go for it.
I didn't want to
interrupt you. Now you have to ask.
All right.
No, I just had to make a comment to Samantha about the validation here.
My heart palpitations that are happening.
Well, it kind of goes into it. Kind of goes with that. So,
okay,
how do you emotionally handle? And maybe this is more of a female question. Maybe guys have a different take on this, but how do you emotionally handle, like Samantha's heart is racing, like the backlog of stuff you have? Does it ever get to you? Does it ever get to your family?
I was gonna say your wives.
Or is it just, part of the process and you're cool with it and you just know you'll move through it and it's all just copacetic? I don't know.
Well, I look at if I ever want to sell the company, which I would love to do that someday down the road. It also helps to have the inventory. So you're not just like, okay,
sure,
I'm turnkey. It's a turnkey. We had 800,000 items listed, and that's it. Now we have 800,000 items listed. We're getting $20 an item. We're selling 300 items a day. Now you have another 1.5 million that you can list. You don't have to buy for years, because if I stop buying for a year or two, I could probably build up some nice chunk of change. And if I, got rid of half my workforce, that'd be great for a couple of years, but then I'd have nothing left. But now I'm building up big time stock and inventory that, for 5 years from now, and if I sell it, that has a value as well, so that's how I look at it.
That's true.
Oh, good answer. Good answer. I like this. Not what I was expecting. Okay.
From my side, I'm actually getting the heart palpitations this year because I've only gone to like 5 estate sales. So that's where I'm getting my palpitations. I'm saying I've only got 100,000.
It is February 11th. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, I have 100,000 unlisted items at the level that I list and doing whatnot. I've only got 3 years of unlisted backstock. So these things better start turning around in the next 3 years, or I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh my God.
And those are legitimate numbers. I've run those numbers, and it truly is 3 years worth of backstock. As to, let's say Mrs. Papergoy is not as enamored of living in a warehouse as I am. That being said, we go to estate sales together, and if they've got a nice purse she likes or nice jewelry she likes, I'm not telling her no. So
That's
one of those deals.
husband.
Good news,
I don't
bad
think
news.
you
I
can
got this
tell her
box of
no.
magazines, and you got a nice guest purse.
Yep. That's my husband. As long as I keep buying him fishing poles and lures and stuff at all the sales, he's fine. Yeah.
Good to go.
Wow, I just love this perspective because it's so opposite of what we of what we do, and like the whole mentality, and your answers there are just phenomenal. I love it.
That's why we're like, we got to have him back again, because it's fun to have something completely different. And yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. I want to talk whatnot. So this is a new venture. So let's hear about it.
So Papergood's been bugging me for 2 years, and I've just been very stubborn. Like, I don't think I personally would be good at it. As far as, I think after a while maybe I would get a little more comfortable, but I haven't bit the bullet. But
You yourself have.
myself. So anyways, Chet from Rhino's Comics that we're gonna have on the show at some point, right?
Yes.
He has a kid doing whatnot comics for him. So I brought it up to him. I'm like, I always want to do one. And he goes, I got a guy, maybe, he could help you out. And because I want to sell the 45 RPM records, because I have 150,000 of them in a 45 RPM room. They've been sitting there for 7, 8, 10 years, whatever. And I go, it'd be good to get rid of those records. So he came into the warehouse, said he could do it like a Thursday night and then a Saturday, Sunday morning. So I started him on 45s, and we did. This was how many months
October.
ago? October. So
how do I know your business better than you?
I got too much in my mind right now. And it was like so he started doing 45s, and he was doing like $100 in 4 hours or something like that, which wasn't bad. And he was doing that for a week or two, and I said, let's step it up and try 33s, because we had like 50,000 33 RPM records on Amazon, and all the ones from 2010 to 2012 we ended them, and so they're just sitting on the shelves as like dead.
Oh yeah.
So I started pulling some off, and I gave him some. And then money was just flying in after that. And I said, hey, if I give you a raise, will you work for 6 hours? So now he does comics on Thursday nights for 2 hours. And then records, he does 6 hours every Saturday and Sunday. And then my niece does comics from 3 to 5 Monday through Friday. But I'm going to get her on 33s. I just picked up another 33 RPM collection, like 15,000 records. So we probably have 60, 70,000 33 RPM records. And then we just did I call it a Mr. Magazine train. We did 14 hours of record whatnot Saturday. So they had some Super Bowl stuff.
So you really dove in. You didn't jump in.
Yeah. So and it's funny because now all these guys were selling records too. Go ahead.
So we were not just sticking the toe in. We were.
No,
we should have known. We should have known.
I smelled the money coming in, and then I said, I think I can make more money. So we started with the 33s, and it really took off. And I'm happy because we can do this for years. I think the way it's going.
So do you, if you don't want to answer this, if that's okay too, but so you have somebody that you're essentially hiring to do the whatnot shows?
Correct. Yeah.
And then do you do that like an hourly commission?
I've been doing them an hourly, and then like my niece gets a bonus if she makes so much money in a week with comics. So it all depends. With comics, you could have a slow day, and then you could have something that's $50. So I said you get X amount of bonus for doing the 5. She works for me full time anyways at the shop. Say I have her 6 or 7 hours a day, then 5 hours of listing, 2 hours of whatnot, which I think is a good mix. And then I give her a bonus if her sales increase over 2,000 for the week or something like that. And then the other guy, I pay him a good price per. And then, like I said, for the train, they did extra, so I paid them a bigger bonus. So I had a good chunk of change coming in. But it's funny because now all these record buyers from me hear that we got all these records and they want to buy my inventory. I'm like, well, you should have came 6 months ago. You probably would have got them for next to nothing. Increased, 100-fold. So,
Right.
It sounds like you built really quickly on Whatnot.
yeah, and I had a friend of mine that was storing 15,000 records or so for years, and he wanted to sell them to me. I'm like, I don't want that crap. I got tons of it. I'm not selling it now. We're getting out of records. And then I said, hey, you still got those records? And his price was really, really cheap. So they're bringing them over, by the truckload. So yeah,
Nice.
good rock stuff. I mean, yeah, we're doing well. Can't argue with that.
Oh, I love the idea of having somebody else do the live shows and just use your inventory. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, because if I did it myself, I mean, how many hours can I dedicate to doing it at a certain time too? So I figured I don't mind paying them money. I'm making good enough money. I'm happy to keep it going. So
yeah, it's time consuming.
Yeah, we're gonna hire some more people because we're like I said, we're selling old inventory that we had listed on Amazon, comics and records, and then when those don't sell from Whatnot, we recycle them back into Amazon comics and records, and then those are selling now because they're fresh listings. So it's a win-win.
Okay.
Look at there.
So how do you? I have a question. Like, all right, so you're balancing Amazon and eBay and other things as well, but how do you? Is it totally separate inventory that you have on Amazon?
For both of us, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So for both of you, it's totally separate. It doesn't intermingle. And then you do like merchant fulfilled or you do FBA?
Everything is merchant.
Merchant, yeah.
Yep.
Merchant fulfilled. Okay.
FBA would kill us because the things we sell are just too slow moving.
Yeah.
Storage fees would absolutely destroy us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the other day, eBay was very, very weird the other day. I actually had some sales and I sold something from 2016, 2010, and 2014. Wow. Why those things sold, why something sold after 14 years or 15 years, I don't know. The right person found it.
Our community. Suddenly, we don't have the oldest listings in the room anymore, Molly. Everybody's always shaming us for our old listings.
But our community has said a lot lately that they're selling a lot of their oldest listings. So that's definitely been the trend in the last few weeks.
I wonder what's made that happen. What is that? It's something in the computer.
The only thing I can think of is it could be stuff stored on different servers and different servers is being pushed forward.
Yeah. Something's definitely changed since we're hearing it from others, right? Like interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
I hate selling old stuff. When I sell old stuff, half the time we can't find it because it started like say 15 years ago, my garage at the shop, then warehouse 1, then warehouse 2, then big warehouse I'm running, now the new warehouse. So like a lot of stuff is new, it's just out of order and stuff. So we try to end it as much as we can and then relist the boxes. So
now I will say that causes
I see it.
That causes me anxiety right there.
Yeah. I'm really thankful I only have like 40 totes in my basement. My oldest thing is like 2 years old. I'm good with that.
I get that excitement. Ooh, something from 2016 just sold. And then I'm like, oh crap, something from 2016 just sold. I've moved like 3 times since then.
Yeah.
At least. All right.
Right.
For sure.
Are you still on Whatnot as well? Then I know you were doing regular shows for a while. How's that going?
Let's go. I mean, Tuesday, 10 a.m. I'm usually doing postcards Tuesdays at 10 a.m. all times Eastern. But I'm also doing I'm doing it now where every other week, Mr. Magazine was nice enough to give me about a 6-foot pile of, which he doesn't even remember he did, about a 6-foot pile of print ads and to sell for him on Whatnot. And I said, I'm sick of having this pile almost fall over. Let me start selling this stuff. So I'm going to be doing print ad drops as well. So every other week, 1 week's going to be postcards, the next week's going to be print ads and vice, back and forth. Then I do 4 p.m. Tuesday, usually ephemera. And then I do Wednesday, 4 p.m. A lot of times magazines, sometimes books, and then Thursday, 4 p.m. are books. And then, of course, I'm part of the various trains. And I'm sure you guys are well aware, but I'm going to give a quick little shameless plug for our channel.
Yeah.
By the time this airs, we'll already have had the interview tomorrow, and it went great with Sen Creations, PSEN Creations, who's got a YouTube channel as well, junk journaling. And I had no knowledge at all of the junk journal world until somebody, Love Be My Motive Studio, as a matter of fact, over on, listen to me name dropping, over on Whatnot, reached out to me at one of my ephemera sales and said, you need to get onto a train for junk journaling. The stuff they would love. And so I'm very, very excited about tomorrow's guest that you'll be able to see now, because I've got a whole litany of questions about the junk journaling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm leaving a lot of money on the table when I'm outsourcing, because I've always sourced for the ephemera market. Well, the junk journal market is a whole different market, and I'm doing well being part of the junk journal trains, but I would love to make that Wednesday show be a regular junk journal thing. So I want to talk to her to get a better idea as what to source when I'm out there. Little secret I'll tell you and all of your viewers, the really nice thing about junk journal is a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of the dealers don't know about it. The advantage to this is you can end up buying a lot of distressed stuff. Well, the dealer who's thinking about it from the ephemera category or the book category is like, what do you want this for? It's right cover. Just put it in. So you end up getting the good stuff in the junk journal world as throw-ins in the ephemera world. And that's
because in the junk journal world, they want like pages that are a certain color of yellow or whatever, or they want I know my mom, she loves junk journaling, and she's always like, if you find any with flower illustrations, not colored, not, you know, like the old timey ones, but she's like, I want flower illustrations. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 2 pages or 20. So it doesn't have to be a complete book. It doesn't have to be, even if it's ripped, that's okay.
I was going to say, a lot of times the rips, they love the rips. They love the colorations. They love,
There's someone in our community that she purposely takes a perfectly good book and she rips it so that it has that ripped edge, and her junk journal people go crazy for that stuff.
Well, yes, you guys are going to not have to get upset about that kind of stuff if you're getting into junk journaling. I mean, some of that's going to be painful for you to see.
Well, I heard a story. A couple of people have told it to me over on Whatnot. Somebody was able to sell a pile of used cellophane tape, yellowed tape. And that got my eyes open to say, wait a minute, because a lot of times if you buy old library books, it's got tape around it because they taped the library jacket on it.
Yeah.
You pull that tape off and you can sell a pile of it. And the reason why is because the junk journalists want the aged tape, and this saves them the trouble of actually taking new tape and aging it. So to them, this is wonderful.
So I was at my dad's the other day, and we had a tape dispenser, I'm pretty sure from like the 70s when his parents moved up here. And it was that, like, I don't even know what it is, but it was thick and it had like the lines in it. Like it had, I don't know, it was textured, but it was dried out. And what is the point of that? And I hope I didn't convince my dad to throw it away, because people can still glue that into their junk journals.
I'll tell you what, my dumpster's $150 a month at the warehouse. Just give me the 150 and just dive into it.
There you go.
Every man's trash. Every man's trash.
Wow. You're going to need another tractor trailer. That's all I can say.
I need to know what's good, because I literally throw everything out because I don't have room for stuff like that. I just know nothing about it.
No, next time you have us on, there I am inviting us. You're going to have Mr. Magazine's going to be here going, I've got 3 junk journal auctions a week.
No, I'm actually just waiting for the next video release. You know how they do the dumpster diving videos where you're dumpster diving in his dumpster for his used old tape.
Live from the dumpster. There you go. That's what we need.
I mean, they buy old envelopes. They buy so many things in that community. And that's why I'm very, very excited about the guest, because again, I've got so many questions. It's going to completely change my sourcing this summer. I don't have any doubt at all. It's going to completely change my sourcing. I think
I'm going to link that up in the show notes, because people are going to want to see that. I'm going to want to see. I really know nothing about junk journaling myself. I know you, Smith and Molly do, but I know nothing.
Now, don't let this be a gateway to more hoarding, because that is all.
I can't believe you just used the H word with them. Come on.
Well,
I did have an auction the one day, and I had a book that I swear to you, I was this close to throwing out. It was an old book, Tennyson, the poet, and it had the leather cover on it. And I mean, it was ratty. It was falling apart. And somebody won it for my $3 opener, and then messaged, I'm so happy to get this. I repurposed the leather. And I'm like, that's a wonderful thing because it was this close to being in a landfill. And now it's going to their house and they're doing something with it because they get the old leather that they love. And that's wonderful.
I really thought he was going to say, thank you. I really love this. I needed it for my table. It was a little uneven.
I love it.
That's funny.
So this is one of the things that I love being in this reselling world and industry is all the things you get to learn. I mean, who knew? Now you're learning about something completely new and you've been in the business for so long doing what you do. And look, here's a whole new thing to learn. It keeps us, I think it keeps what we do exciting, keeps things fresh and fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, I know in our previous episode with you, we did a lot of diving into kind of what you guys do. I'm going to start asking a little more of like, let's talk coffee talk. Let's talk happy hour. Like, how was your year? What, those kind of good questions that we're just hanging out, chit chatting.
Well, first thing I want to say, back to what you had just said there, there are things that I hate selling. And they would be things like car magazines, which we luckily just spent $10,000 to get a lot of, but that's a whole other story. To me, that would be assembly line work. Sitting there and grabbing a bunch of car magazines and listing, 1978 Oldsmobile, and then the next one, whatever, Fiero, whatever, and so on and so on. And that would be boring to me. You can make a living doing it. You can make a living just selling car magazines. You can make a living just selling common magazines with things like Sports Illustrated and Time Magazine, the things you see that are a dime a dozen. You can make a living doing it. There's not a problem whatsoever doing it. If I do that, I might as well sell packing supplies. I might as well just pack up 500 bags and send them out to you. And that is the beauty of what we do is I've got that potential buy tomorrow. He just said it's ephemera. I don't have any idea at all what I'm coming home with. I don't have any idea at all what he has. He could have stuff from the 1800s. He could have stuff from the 1950s. I can only guarantee you there's going to be stuff in there I've never seen before, just because the world of ephemera is so wide and so wide ranging. And the other thing is he's calling me for ephemera. He may not know that I buy books. He may not know Mr. Magazine buys records. He may not know. And this is somebody who got my name because I've always bought off that estate sale well. And one of his employees knows me, and so gave my name. And that's where the networking thing, and say I'm out there and the guy's got 10,000 records. I'm giving him Mr. Magazine's name, and Mr. Magazine, for all we know, I come home buying nothing, and Mr. Magazine ends up buying all the records. That could very well be the way it works out too. We don't know. But that's the beauty of it. You absolutely never know. It's like every day is an adventure when you're out there sourcing.
So that's my favorite thing about being in this business there.
Sourcing. Yes, we know. No,
it's not the sourcing. It's the new, it's the hunt, it's the treasures. We just talked about on last week's episode, I went to a church rummage sale when we were on vacation down in Florida and bought a couple of these smaller buckets of just pieces and parts of nativities and, old cupcake toppers, and it just piqued my interest. It looked like fun to go through and see what was in the treasure. They ended up selling me 3 of these plus a whole bunch of beautiful wool blankets and other stuff for $20. I mean, I just sold the first set of chunked up nativity pieces, shipped it out this morning, and it covered more than the cost of everything I bought. It's the fun of getting those buckets home and going through. And
she does mean totes, if you guys are unfamiliar with that. She's not carrying around a little pail.
No.
Not a pail. It's a bucket.
So anyway. This is a bucket.
Oh, stop it.
She's talking about a Rubbermaid tote. Do you guys call them buckets or totes?
Totes.
Okay. Just
see, and what did you picture when she said bucket? Did you picture a pail?
Blue bucket like you just set up on the screen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Samantha. Oh yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Great.
That's it. I'm out of here. I'm feeling very ganged up on
it. I'm glad what I learned. Now I'm just going to tell after tomorrow's buy, when I see Mrs. Paper Guy, I just bought 2 buckets of stuff.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. 2 buckets. It's okay. Oh yeah.
Can we start calling them thimbles? I just bought a thimble of stuff.
Right.
Maybe that's why I use that term. It seems less.
Yeah.
It does seem smaller than what you're doing. Yes, it does. It minimizes it.
I just always have an image of you with 2 5-gallon buckets, just traipsing through everything. You know, like some people use IKEA bags. We have our Hulkin bags. We have totes. But no, Molly prefers buckets.
You know what she's got? She's got one of those, those wooden things across, and she's got.
Yes. Yes.
You guys got to do a graphic.
If I were out at the beach digging for clams, I would have a pail on a stick.
Well, you guys got to do a graphic for that at some point with her. Show her like.
Oh my gosh, that is brilliant!
I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah.
Thanks so
great.
much, guys.
You're welcome.
We owe you a few, Molly.
Like and
Molly
subscribe.
does all the design.
Oh, that's great.
Lord.
So, how do you guys, other than getting new random things, how do you guys keep from burning out? You're doing such a large scale of a niche down thing. Like, how do you keep it interesting? Because that's, especially this time of year when it's gray season, everybody's sad. Like, everybody's sad. People are really struggling with finding the joy in reselling still and keeping it fresh.
I just love what I do. So and obviously it pays off because what I buy, and my employees think I'm nuts. Like, this isn't going to sell. And then we sell a ton of it. And they're like, okay, he knows what he's doing. But, the money's coming in. We got a lot of items listed, and it's just a nice, cycle we got going on. I buy a ton of stuff. They list a ton of stuff. We sell a lot of it, and it's paying off, and even with the whatnot, I want to expand that even further and hire someone full time. Why not? We got a lot of inventory. Why have it sitting around? So. But
who is this person sitting next to me? I've never heard that.
I told you so. I mean, we can extract joy out of the little "I told you so." I told you that was going to sell. I knew it.
Oh, we know.
Molly
We
uses
know
that
about
one
that.
on Mr. C chats. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things.
As to how I do it, I use the eBay scheduling, and what I do is I put a quote on myself every day. I've got 3 different eBay sites. I sell on my main one, Papergoy. I sell on $1,000,000 Peddlers over on eBay. I tend to sell more common magazines there. I sell on Vivs-Views over there. I sell postcards there. And then I sell on Etsy. So every morning I list 1 item on Vivs-Views, 1 item on $1,000,000 Peddlers, 2 items on Etsy. Then on eBay, and this is my goal every day, and unless I'm on vacation, I make it. I list 1 item today on Papergoy over on eBay. Then I use the scheduler feature. I go out 21 days. I list an item 20, 19, 18. That way, and what I do too is I change the time. So the item that I list today, 21 days out, is at midnight. The item I list tomorrow, which will be 20 days out, is at 1 in the morning and so on. So I've got items going up all day long over on eBay using their scheduling feature. Because I think that shows regular activity on eBay, which in my head, eBay's gonna be like, oh, he's listing stuff regularly during the day, as opposed to 35 items today, 1 tomorrow, 27 the day after, 4 the day after. I have the straight thing. Once I hit quota, then I can do what I want, whether it's list stuff on Amazon, whether it's list more difficult things over on eBay, whether it's put up whatnot auctions, whether it's go to an estate sale, whether it's go with Mrs. Papergoy out to lunch, whatever the case happens to be. That's my quota. Once I get it done, then I kind of, just kind of go with the speed that I want to go because I've done what I have to do for the day. And then I go on from there. And it keeps me from burning out that way. And some days I list a lot of stuff all day long. Other days it's like, oh, let's just go to lunch.
Yeah.
It seems complicated for me, at least with my employees. I would fear like my employee would, schedule like 500 items for February 29th. And then I have to wait 4 years for them to come out and sell me list. That's what I got to do. Seriously, that could happen.
So you don't utilize the scheduling at all?
No, nothing. I don't utilize anything. Straight listings. That's all my guys can handle. Straight listings.
I'm with you on that one. All right. Same. work is done, it goes up. But I think that's a really cool time. I hadn't heard that like hourly one and the staggering like that before. That's interesting.
I've recently been wanting to get back into scheduling just a little bit like that, like just a little something to spread things out. Because I do have that problem where there's days where I won't list at all. And then there's days when I'll list, 50 something items. And then the next day I don't list it. And I probably should even it out just a little bit. I don't think I'll care about when, like the hourly and all that. But I have set some goals starting to this morning, actually, with scheduling.
Starting about 3 minutes ago, I had the great goal.
No, at our mastermind meeting this morning, we talked about it. So it was there. Yes.
I can confirm.
Oh, all right. So what else is new with you guys? Like, what do you have any updates for us? Anything that you guys wanted to talk about?
Yeah, anything good?
Well, just I do get excited. And here's the thing: I'm retired from my day job. I retired a year ago. February was my last day of work. Probably, basically, essentially about a year ago from when we're talking. And I was telling Mrs. Paper going, I may need to get a day job again. And she said, "Why is finances bad?" I go, no. I don't have time to do anything. When I had the day job, I had more time than I have now. And that's what it comes down to when when you're working for yourself. The positive thing about the day job was, it was 9 to 5 or whatever the hours happened to be. And you kind of turned it off at a certain point. Now there's always something to do is what it comes down to. When you have 100,000 unlisted items, it's going to be a while until I get them all listed. Now, once they're all listed, then I'll be going, what am I going to do now? But that'd be a positive problem to have. But that's really what it comes down to is how much time everything takes. And that's not a negative by any means whatsoever, because again, when I was working for the state, I knew what my pay was every week, and that's just what it was. Virtue of a state job, whether you did more, you did less, didn't matter. You know what I mean? You just did. Well, now I reap all the benefits of all the extra work that I put in. And the other positive thing that is happening is, like I'll be going up to Connecticut. I never heard of it before, but there's an ephemera fair, and it's the 45th one. So you would think at some point I would have heard of it. Going up to Connecticut in March for that, and then I'm going to an Allentown Paper Show the end of April. Going May over to Springfield, Ohio. So I've got my whole summer trips with the various venues and things that I'm going to like that. So that's kind of fun as well. Something to look forward to year after year. This is a 6-hour drive. I go out there every year, and I take these days and I go over there. And once you've been doing things year after year too, you begin to meet the dealers, you begin to know the dealers. And what I've always said over on our channel is ephemera fair this year, I'm not expecting to get very many good deals. I'm really not, because it's my first year over there. And so my goal is to learn the lay of the land. Here's how it's set up. These dealers, this, that. If I continue to go 2 years from now, I'll be driving home with the car filled with stuff, because I'll know this dealer. I'll know this guy. I know this. I go that. So as long as the dealers are there, don't expect a lot the first year, but go back the second year. Now, if you go and there's no dealers or whatever, don't waste your time the second year. But take the first year as kind of a beta. Take it that way. And by third, fourth year, you'll be driving home with your car filled with more stuff than you can put in it.
That's some sound
advice.
I like it.
That's good. And especially in a day and age when people are so scared to talk about what they do, I don't understand. They're like, oh, I go to these fairs, but I don't tell them that I resell the items, or, oh, I go to these things. And I hate that. Like, tell them what you do, because in a couple years, they're going to be telling all their friends too, hey, I've been selling to this guy. I've got to hook up with this guy. Like, you got to talk about it. That's how you make those connections. Otherwise, you're just going to fairs paying for lots of money.
Yeah, the longer you do this, I found the more you realize the randomness of connections. It's never the people you think are going to be the good connection. Like, it's always the most random, like cousin, uncle's cousin, ridiculous thing that got your card someplace weird, or heard about you through such and such. So it's always, it just seems to be like,
a lot of word of mouth.
Got to tell everyone, because you just don't know where that amazing connection is going to come from.
Did I tell you that story last time I was on? It was 2015. I get a call middle of the day. Hey, you still buying? I go, yeah. Oh, good. I got some stuff in the trunk of the car. I'll be by. What's your address? Gave him my address. Comes by.
Scary one?
No, this isn't scary. No.
Oh, okay.
I go, okay, no problem. He comes by. He goes, yeah, I got this stuff here. Let's get it in the house. So we carry it all in the house. He goes, oh, give me $100. I'm like, okay. He goes, all right, thank you. I have never seen this guy before. I've never seen the guy since. I have no idea where he got my card from. I just know that I picked up for like $100, a couple of $1,000 worth of stuff, and he delivered it. I couldn't complain, but I don't know. I have no idea who he is. No idea.
I tell you the story. So my sister's a dentist, and so they had a dental practice, and they get this, like, they had just opened, and like this guy, random phone call, guy comes in, needs like major work, he's having an emergency, and they're like, well, how did you even find us, right? Like, we just opened. And he said, oh, there was a magnet, I'm a mover, and I was moving a refrigerator, and the magnet was on it, and it was advertising your business.
Nice.
Like, you just don't know. That's one of my favorite stories.
You gotta put it everywhere. Great. Yeah. I love it. All right. I feel like I'm the one moderating now because I'm up in this corner.
You are.
For sure.
Molly, seriously.
You are. You're the one. You're in charge, Samantha.
So I do think this was awesome. I love having you guys on here, and we will do this annually for sure. So everybody go into the show notes, make sure that you like and subscribe to them, like and subscribe to us if you haven't already for some reason, and watch their channel because we will be over there as well, going back and forth throughout the year. So yeah, thank you guys for coming on again.
No of course. Yeah, do check the channel out, The $1 Million Peddlers. Do check out Papergoy over on Whatnot. Mr. Magazine, he spells it out, Mister Magazine over on Whatnot.
Thank you.
There you're welcome.
Yeah, we'll put it all in the show notes so people can find you and connect. And this is just awesome.
This is why we really have him. It's that commercial voice that is just
I love it.
Spot on.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with it for an hour.
Oh, Mrs. Papergoy gets all upset. I was on a train the other day, and somebody came in and said on the train, "You've got that 1970s radio DJ voice."
Yes.
I let Mrs. Papergoy know that, and she just rolls her eyes and walks away.
She's like, "Yep, you do." Mm-hmm.
One of our subscribers sent over a picture. Unfortunately, they haven't bought me the T-shirt yet, but the T-shirt says, "Don't make me use my radio voice." So,
yes,
that is perfect.
We need that for Libby when she gets real serious. That's when she gets her podcast voice. We call it.
Traffic weather together.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much. It's always great to catch up, see what's going on in your big world that you are in. We appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with us. And do you have a cup nearby? Because we got to toast out here. Absolutely. A cup, a pencil,
anything you can pick up.
I love the emojis.
Aren't those great? All right. Until next time, y'all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining Libby, Molly, and Samantha, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we grow your reselling business. For all things Consignment Chats, visit us at consignmentchats.com and join our free private communities on Facebook and/or Patreon.